First of all, hi, and good to meet you, I guess, electronically. So,
Well, good to meet you electronically as well.
what is your closing message here with Election Day tomorrow?
That everyone needs to get out and vote, like their lives depends on it. Um, I can't remember a time when there was just such clear choices. But it's important for us to get out and vote to understand that. Right now we're dealing with an algorithm war. So depending on what algorithm you're on, you're getting a total different view of what's going on. But we know that we're on the that democracy depends on this election, voters' rights, women's rights, whether or not we live comfortably or whether or not we're just uh, pawns in the rich man's scheme of things. And then we all wind up at the bottom, except for those at the very top. So these things are extremely important. People just need to vote, 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 vote. And in Indiana, we were 50th. But the good thing is that there are people wrapped around buildings this time. So I think we're going to get rid of that uh, legacy of having been the 50th in voter turnout. So just vote. Get out there and vote and take everybody with you.
Why do you think, hopefully there is better turnout, why do you think that is? Is it a direct cause of the abortion issue and what the state has done here in the last 2 years?
I think it's a direct cause of the abortion issue. I think it's also people that understand that Project 2025 and got glimpse of what's coming. They don't want that. And also, I think it's a product of the hate speech and the pitting people against each other. We are seeing an ugliness that people don't want to have anything to do with that. So there's like we got to turn that back. We don't want an environment where people are pitted against each other. Different groups are made to being villainized. We don't like that. That's not what America is all about. So people are voting for various reasons, but I think women's rights to choose is probably the most pressing. But also just democracy, period. There's a lot of freedoms on the line here.
I'm assuming, I don't want to make the assumption, but I'm assuming that you watched the Republican National Convention where your opponent was in the same family and friends box as former President Trump. What went through your mind when you saw that? You had to at least see the pictures.
That he was in the same box as far as I'm sorry, what was the,
At the Republican National Convention, he was invited
oh,
to sit
yes,
next to the president, the
yes.
former
And he
president.
actually spoke. Well, that's in keeping with what I understood about Jim Banks anyway, is that he's really a rubber stamp for Trump. He's well into the MAGA movement. He's well into any type of anti-woke, anti-DEI, anti-immigrant, deport immigrants in rapid speed. He's all a part of that Project 2025. So that's par for the course. We knew that, but it was just interesting to actually see it in action. So we know, based on his voting record, he's a rubber stamp for the MAGA movement.
Is immigration a real issue?
I think it's made to be a real issue, but we have, different cities around Indiana and Ohio, different places that are taking in immigrants. They're doing fine. They're making a bigger deal out of that and sort of causing this discourse. Do we need to streamline and really get a handle on who's coming and who's how we're going to absorb people that do come over, and do we need to speed up the process? Do we need to make sure that people coming over are safe? Yes, we do. But at the same rate, it seems to be just a political pawn at this point. They don't seem to care about real solutions because a real solution was put on the table. There was a bill that would resolve a lot of these issues that they said that they were worried about, in which we need to get a handle on. But at the same rate, they voted not to. They decided not to vote on that particular bill, which is unfortunate. But so it's like put your money where your mouth is. You know, you talk in the talk, walk the walk. And that's not what's happening. I am also one that understand that we have to be human in our absorbing people. We can't mistreat them, villainize them, you know, demean them, talk about them like they're eating dogs and things like that. That is totally ridiculous. It's setting up fear. It's setting up a sense of vulnerability that you know, coming from a different country, you're already feeling vulnerable, and to add to that discourse is just unfortunate. That's not who we are as Americans, and um, that's not who I am basically either. So I these people that are coming over, for the most part, are adding to our economy. They're adding billions to our economy, billions to our tax structure. They are keeping this economy going in some respects. It helped us to recover from COVID-19. And what they're getting is just this negativity, and it's uncalled for, and it's not fair.
Here in Northeast Indiana, we have the tickets very divided on gender lines now with the president, the Senate race, the House race, the governor's race, and the attorney general's race. All the Democrats are women, all the Republicans are men. Does that tell you anything? What should we take away, or is that just coincidence?
I think that women are stepping up, and other women and people who love women are also stepping up to support women as well. So we all went through primaries, we all went through the signature process, we went through the trials and tribulations of and the different tests to get on the ballot to get to where we are now. We've got support all along the way, and it's built momentum as it went along as well. So people are ready to hear women speak up, and I don't think we can speak up for any, we can't, no one can speak up for women's health and health rights better than women. So I think that has a lot to do with it. We are, we can be a nurturing bunch, and we want to make sure our schools are okay. We want to make sure that Social Security is protected. We want to make sure that our streets are safe. We want to make sure that our families are first help are put first and foremost. So I think that women are people are listening to women, and they're ready to let women lead, you know, take the lead, take the reins sometimes. And it's past time. Just think of it this way. We've never had a woman as a in the Senate from Indiana. That is ridiculous. That's deplorable, actually, especially given the 51% of Indiana or United States period are female. So it just doesn't make sense. We need to be represented. We need to be at the table. And I'm proud of Indiana for pushing four women forward. And there are actually more than four women, because even in Congress, we've got Lori Camp, we've got Kylie Adolph, we've got Cindy Worth, we've got a lot of women, not just the four, we've got women down the ballot. We've got men too down the ballot, and they are phenomenal men that are running as well. So it's just time. It's just time.
My final question is, when you see the polls close, I guess it's technically 7 o'clock in because the Chicago time zone and all of that. But when the polls close tomorrow, will you feel good knowing that you did everything you could to get all the votes you could?
I feel good knowing that we gave it our best shot and that we're going to win. And I feel good that we stood up. We stood up for the debate when our opponents, you know, did not. I feel good that we put our best foot forward. I feel good that we were able to collect an awesome, awesome volunteer team that understood what the assignment was. They understood how important this race is. I feel good what we developed as a team. And I'll feel good about winning tomorrow as well.
You know, I need to add one more question because I have on my list to talk to Jim Banks specifically about the debate. What was it like to debate a guy who wasn't there?
You know, we had rules to not, you know, I would have talked more about Jim Banks at that particular meeting because all across District 3, everyone's complaining that he has not shown up. And I haven't seen him out here on the campaign trail at all. It was odd. It was odd knowing that there's an empty podium there, so to speak, and we weren't allowed to really talk about that. I thought it was disrespectful that he refused to debate. I think it was disrespectful not only to women, it was disrespectful to Indiana voters. And of course, it was disrespectful to me as well, but mostly Hoosiers deserve to hear what he had to say. Hoosiers deserve to hear why he's pushing Project 2025, why he is wanting to deport everyone, why he is standing for those things that he is standing for, why he is about this negative discourse all the time. Hoosiers deserve to know what he stands for, and they deserve to hear him defend his position, which are to me not defendable, but Hoosiers deserve to hear it.
Anything else you'd want to add?
I want to add that I am looking forward to being the next senator for Indiana. I'm looking forward to the work because we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of cleaning up to do. We've got a lot of things to do with our schools, with our environment, with our electric grid, with our energy grid. We've got a lot of work to do, and I can't wait to get to work and start working on these issues.